Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hear our chief guest. So I would like to request Dr. M.K. Shanmuga Sundaram to kindly join us and address the august audience. A big hand for our chief guest, ladies and gentlemen.
Honorable Member of Parliament and my dear friend, Dr. Magesh Gupta-ji. Sorry, Magesh Sharma-ji, sorry for that. Mr. Satendra Singh, Chairman of ICIM, representatives of different industrial associations, organizations and other bodies, our Deputy Labour Commissioners, Sri Rakesh Dwivedi-ji, Sri Anurag Mishra-ji, Sri Pankaj Rana-ji, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good morning to all of you. It is my immense pleasure to be here, standing before you to talk about the newly and recently introduced labor codes. Nice to see a packed audience here in rapt attention to hear from the speakers, and we'll be having a technical session after the inaugural session, so in which a lot of things will be deliberated and many things will be exchanged, and it will be for the benefit of both labor and industry. Friends, we all know that labor and industry are two sides of the same coin. Without labor, there is no industry. Without industry, there is no labor. We all understand it very clearly. So what Government of India has done is a great balancing act by fusing the 29 existing labor laws into 4 labor codes is not an easy issue. It has been done. It has been done with a balance. A lot of balancing has been done. If you look at the act, look at the codes, in fact, there are 4 codes, you all know, and it will be further discussed in detail in course of time today. These 29 labor laws have been made into 4 codes with deletions, additions, modifications. So number 1, which I feel I understand, is that the universal minimum wage. So earlier the minimum wage was applicable to the scheduled industries. Now it will be uniformly applicable across the industries. So in that way, it is for the benefit of our teeming laborers who are toiling their hard work for the development of industries and exports. The second aspect is the national floor wage. For the first time in history of India, the national floor wage has been introduced. With this concept, all the minimum wages across the states, across the country, will be a standardized one. It cannot go below the national floor wage. But at the same time, if any state or any area is paying more than the national floor wage, they have to stay there only. They need not come down to be on par with national floor wage. So this is a new concept. Of course, it has been in force in so many countries, maybe 15, 16 countries. However, for the first time, it has been introduced in our country too. And the third aspect is issue of appointment letters. Of course, normally the appointment letter means somebody has got a government job and he has been appointed. In the private sector, yes, definitely the executives, officers, and other officials used to get appointment letters. What about the laborers? It is a fine thinking went inside the minds of those who have prepared the labor codes, and also the government has graciously accepted this appointment letter concept. So every laborer will get an appointment letter. whenever they are employed. And there will not be any gender discrimination. Equal work, equal effort, equal pay. It cannot be restricted to one gender or the other gender. So we all know that if you take even the cricket matches, especially for the women cricket, so they also very recently only, I think probably 2 or 3 years back only, they got the parity, pay parity with the male players. Our women players have got the parity only 3 or 4 years, maybe 2 or 3 years back. So that also infused some sort of self-confidence. It motivated their dynamism, and finally it resulted in winning the World Cup. So equal work, equal pay is a simple concept, but it can do wonders. It can generate a lot of passion and a lot of hard work among the women folk, that they can aspire for many more things. Still, the top echelons of our industry in any other position, the number of women are less comparing to the population. We always call that they are the Adi Abadi, correct? I think I would like to call them, they are the Pratham Abadi, first population. So after women only, men come, definitely. So equal work for equal pay is very important for the first population of the world, especially with special reference to our country. And third, and fifthly, the overtime. So whenever somebody does overtime, he or she has to be paid at least twice the amount of the normal payment. It is at least, any industry should pay 50 at least twice, but if the industry wants to pay more, they can pay more for the overtime. That is also there. It has been introduced. And the timely payment. Timely payment means the regular salary. The salary has to be paid 7th of every next month. This month's salary should be paid within 7 days of the next month. This is one thing. And secondly, there are standardized calculations for this overtime, gratuity, and also bonus. These things will have a standardized calculation. So Government of India has come up with a very long, elaborate, and detailed provisions. Probably you may be knowing more than all of us, because you are all a especially ICIM is a consultancy services organization. So many of you may be consultants. I think a lot of you are from other states also. Some of you have come from other states also. How many of you from other states apart from UP? Haryana, Karnataka, hello? Punjab, Delhi, Gujarat. So the audience is a very differentiated audience, diverse, the unity and diversity audience here. So this standardization of calculations about all these parameters will definitely give a fillip to the entire gamut of things as far as the labor codes are concerned. And who can be eligible for gratuity? Earlier it was 5 years you have to work and get into the mode of gratuity, but now after 1 year everybody will be eligible for getting gratuity. That is another aspect which has been introduced in this code. And reskilling, there is a reskilling fund. A fund has been created for reskilling. If any employee is retrenched, so he goes out of the factory, the factory owner has to contribute 15 days of his salary to the reskilling fund. So that fund will be utilized for those who are retrenched. So in that way, a fund has been created from the managements, organizations, and factories themselves, and it will be used for reskilling and upskilling of our laborers, so that they can get reskilled, upskilled, and they can scale up their work ability, so that they come back as a better person. They can come back as a fresh person. They can come back as a more efficient person. so that he can demand more salary, he can demand many of other benefits in such a way that he is beneficial not only to the industry but also to the development of the state and the country as a whole. And there would be digital registers. Yes, of course, we know that Government of India, led by our Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Mahesh Sharma sir, also talking about it before me coming to the stage, that digitalization has come up in a long way in the country. So a lot of things have been digitalized, and we talked about UPI payments. So wherever you go, UPI payment, you can purchase sabji also. So वहाँ पर भी आप UPI payment के माध्यम से पे कर सकते हैं. आजकल हो रहा है. So it is not out of compulsory. It has become a necessity. So इसलिए, so because of which the digital register will come into fore in the factories, managements, and organizations also. There will be unique ID, and that ID is portable. So you are working, I am working in particular factory, so I have got an ID. So if I go to some other factory to work, then I can, my ID can be, the portability of my ID can happen for the next industry also. So in that way, the portability has been ensured, a new concept has been introduced. We are talking about gig economy, correct? Gig workers and platform workers. Who are these gig workers and platform workers? Here we have the photographers. So they are not registered, I assume that they are not registered in any digital platform. But however, they are coming for a particular period, they will charge. They will charge the host that this is our charge for 3 hours program or 4 hours program. So they are gig workers, correct? He is a gig worker. But those who have registered in a platform like Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, so all they are registered in a platform and they work. There will not be any restricted working hours or a fixed working hours, but they can work by registering themselves. So they are called platform workers. So these gig and platform workers constitute about, I think, 70 lakh people across the country, if I am not wrong, as per the report by Niti Aayog. So they are very important. They have been for the first time recognized. पहली बार इनको एक recognition दिया गया है gig workers को और platform workers को. So उनका they feel that they are left out of the entire economic conundrum, but now they have been included by these labor codes. The drinking water facility, restroom facility, they were hitherto not talked about, but these labor codes, they talk about providing drinking water facility for the workers, providing better facilities for the restrooms, and so many other facilities which are required for day-to-day life. So this is also have been introduced in such so that the laborers get the maximum benefit out of these things. And the free annual health checkup, very important. We have not only the parliamentarian, but he is basically a doctor. Dr. Mahesh Sharma ji understands more than any of us, especially about the annual health checkup. So when I was posted as district magistrate in NOIDA, Gautam Buddha Nagar district, long back in 2012-13, so I used to go to your hospital only for the annual health checkup. So it's one of the most very popular and also one of the very key hospitals in this region. I think probably you are having 10 hospitals across the states here. So annual medical health examination is very important. So that's why Government of India also for its officers has standardized the annual health checkup once the officer reaches the age of 40. So it is very important. It has been recognized. It is important for the laborers because the laborers work in adverse conditions. They work in dry heat. They work in cold winter. They work in many different aspects within the factory. A laborer working in production area, the laborer working in delivery area, service area, dispatch area, totally different. So they are working in different micro ambience within the factory. So they require health checkup. Annual health checkup is important. For the first time in the country, these labor codes have provided for such health checkup facility annually for the laborers through employers. And single license for the factories. So if you are having a factory in Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and Rajasthan as well, you can have a single license. So that will be the national portal. I think probably there will be the Government of India, the Ministry of Labor and Employment is developing such a portal so that you can easily register. So it will be a single license. If you are a startup, you are having 2 units, one in here, one in Ahmedabad, then definitely you can have a single license rather than applying here and there. So easily, just you can quote the license number and you can start there. There is no other obligations upon you. So the single license facility is another game changer in the provisions. The penalty clause has been introduced instead of imprisonment. So that is another thing which has been, in the initial part itself, I told that it is a balancing act has been done. A lot of things for the laborers. At the same time, there are certain things for the employers too. So for the small, petty offenses, which cannot be overlooked, but at the same time, it has to be corrected. So for that, sending the factory owners or anybody else who are working at the top echelons of the factory for imprisonment doesn't look good for a civilized country. So that's why a penalty clause has been introduced, and there will be a course correction period. So if anything happened, anything was not complied with, when our officers go on inspection, they see they come up to the report that there are certain things which are short of expectations in the eyes of the laws and rules. So then they will be given 2 weeks time to rectify, 15 days time to rectify it and comply it, so that things will go on smoothly. It is a win-win situation for both the entities, this side, official side, and that side, factory side. So there will not be any harassment from now on, whether the codes come into being. And safety norms have been given a lot of importance. So safety is very, very important for everybody. That includes laborers too. So safety is paramount. Safety is the highest thing a factory can offer, any organization can offer for its employees. So safety has been given the central focus in the 4 labor codes. See, in a way, we can call it as end-to-end solutions. When we open WhatsApp, what it says, end-to-end encryptions. Like that, end-to-end solutions here. So end-to-end solutions may not be, it is not easy to have 4 codes out of 29 labor laws. So there can be scope for further improvement, room for further modifications. That possibility is always there. When Government of India will be publishing its rules, so definitely we will come to know, we will be deep diving into the things and see whether the provisions are correct or can be modified or can be tweaked to a little bit, so that it will work for both the factories, for both the industry, as well as the labor community. That is what more important. And I would like to tell you proudly that before the labor codes came into being, so we have introduced, government of UP has introduced one small provision. So wherever you go to any shop, you must have seen the young girls standing there, especially if you go to any textile shop, garment shop to purchase your dress. So you may be seeing the mostly young girls, some young boys also. They used to be running around and showing you this is better, sir, this is nice, this is of this fabric, that is of that quality, all these things. Have you noticed that they don't sit? They were always standing. There is no seat for them. So, government of UP has introduced seating facility for those young girls and young boys, that they should take at least 2-3 minutes of rest by sitting on the chair or whatever stool, anything, once in an hour or half an hour, like that. So that has been introduced. This is a far-reaching one. After Kerala and Tamil Nadu, UP is the third state to introduce such provision for our young workers, young population. That is very important. And for a long time, the demand was there. And this time, the government of UP thought that it is time that we have to do it, and that has been done. Friends, I would like to say that we have started the framing of rules. The codes are announced by Government of India. So even though that was given assent by the President of the country in 2019 and 20, they have been introduced, notified this time, this year, and accordingly we have to come up with rules. So we have also published rules long back in 22 and 23, and they have to be now modified with the labor code. We have to be in sync with the labor codes. We have to be in alignment with the labor codes, because of which we have to frame rules. That means we have to make a lot of amendments in the rules. So that for that amendment, we have constituted 4 committees, and Mr. Pankaj Rana is sitting here. He is heading one of the committees. And Mr. Rakesh Dwivedi also heading one of the committees. They two are working together. The committees are working together so that the rules to be amended will be published in next 15 days. I take it on record? Okay, so they say that next 15 days. So the Government of India has given 90 days time to come up with the rules. So in 15 days, if they do it, I hope that they will do it. They are our very senior and efficient officers, they will do it. Then we have to publish it for inviting public objection and suggestions and comments. So it may take about 45 days. It's a minimum of 45 days mandatory time. So that means 15 plus 45, it makes 60. So we are trying to come up with the rules in 60 days time, so that we will get 1 month extra month leverage, so further discussion can be carried out. So we hope that in 60 days of time, we can come up with the rules which will be beneficial for both industry and labor. So without industry, there is no labor. Of course, without laborers, there is no industry. This point we have to understand. And we have to definitely, I am from state government, representing the government of UP, state government, and we all have to congratulate the Government of India, especially the Ministry of Labor and Employment, for making a balance act. So balancing is very much important in the every dynamics of life. In entire life also we cannot go rule bound, correct? So everything never go as we think. Sometimes what we think, if it is 50% we are successful, that is actually 100% successful. So balancing is very important as an individual, as a family, as an organization, as a state, as a country. So what Government of India has done is a great balancing act, which needs to be appreciated, congratulated, and definitely we all will get benefit out of that. So thank you so much. मैं पहले हिंदी में बात करना चाह रहा था, फिर हमको बताए थे सब बहुत लोग यहाँ पे, कुछ लोग बाहर से भी आए हुए हैं, they may not understand प्रॉपरली, दैट्स वाई। अदरवाइज मैं अगले कार्यक्रम में मैं हिंदी में ही आपसे बात कर लूँगा। थैंक यू सो मच। जय हिंद, जय भारत।